Hello and welcome to today's Love Island live chat with radiotimes.com, where we're going to be talking about all of the crazy stuff that happens in tonight's episode. It looks set to be really exciting. I'm Frances Taylor.
I'm Hugh Fullerton.
And there was so much fallout from last night, but more importantly, tonight we're going to be having the episode I think we've all been waiting for all series, which is the lie detector. And it's going to cause absolute chaos for the Islanders. Now, we've had a tiny sneaky peek, not only last night, but also we've had a sort of footage bit that's dropped for us where we've seen that Josh, Wes, Paul and Alex are all outed as liars. Now, we don't know the questions specifically they've been asked that they do turn out to be liars on, but there is going to be a huge fallout for everyone in the villa. So I think, first of all, we've got to talk about, Hugh, the fact that we have new Jack being asked all these really embarrassing questions by his ex Laura about new Laura.
Can I also say the sort of horrible indignity of her being referred to as old Laura?
I know.
How bad is that?
First Laura and second Laura. Are you happy
Laura
with that?
Prime.
Yeah, I get really confused with the Laura A, the Laura C. We'll go first Laura, second Laura.
First Laura,
to
yeah.
spare
OG
her
Laura.
feelings. Yeah. So first Laura is asking Jack these probing questions about not only how he feels about second Laura, but also about whether he had feelings for her in the first place.
I know. I get the impression that new Laura didn't know that it was going to be original Laura reading the questions when she wrote them. But imagine how awkward that would be. Presumably that's why she ends up doing it, is because that's the most spams.
Great telly.
Yeah, it's the
Great
best telly. But yeah, no, that is so awful. Imagine interviewing one of your exes, asking how much they weren't asked about you, basically, like on behalf of their new girlfriend. That is.
Who's also blonde and called Laura.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of Shakespearean or something. It's so twisted. It's a great Game of Thrones, actually. Lots of overlapping things.
Yeah, twisted is a fantastic word. It just gets very, very horrible and toe-curling. But I think what's going to be really exciting about Jack being switched up to this lie detector is that he's going to be asked the bombshell question we've been asking for weeks and weeks, which is what actually happened with Georgia on that date. So what is he I think he says, no, didn't kiss her, but is it going to come back that he's lying or not?
It's interesting because obviously on Aftersun, Georgia kind of saw the footage and kind of admitted she was wrong, or that she misremembered anyway. Not that she lied, because she's honest babe.
She's so
you know
loyal.
her, she's just so
loyal.
loyal. I'm loyal babe. So I think he's just going to stick to his guns, and he's been quite clear on it. But I wonder if you'd start to doubt yourself, wouldn't you? Even if that is what happened and the kiss went down as he thinks, there's probably a little voice in his head being like, did it really go down that way? And unless they show the footage in the villa, that doubt's still going to be there. And
we did sort of ask, are ITV ever going to show this footage, and so that Laura can see it with her own eyes over what happened? And it turns out they're not really. And I think we're getting to the last week now. It happened quite a while ago. So all we're going to have to go on, again, for Laura, is whatever Jack says. But hopefully she's over him by now because she's with Paul.
Yeah.
But that does throw up its own problems, because obviously Laura puts Paul under the microscope a bit as well and asks some, again, quite probing questions, including, and I think this is never, ever going to go down well, she says, who is a better kisser, me or Britney Spears?
We've all wondered.
We have all wondered.
Who among us can say they have not wondered?
The Love Islanders, they're just like us, aren't they?
They're just like us. It's a funny one, because I love that conversation they had about Britney, where he was sort of like, oh, here's a funny anecdote. And she's like, she's older than me.
I love that. I think she's nearly 40. I think she is nearly 40.
Thing is,
she's 36. No, she's nearly 40.
I looked it up afterwards. Paul is bang on. She's 36.
I know.
So he's kept an eye on that. Or maybe he just knows her age and like she's 5 years older than me, kind of thing.
Maybe. But Laura was quick to throw in there that she was in her 20s.
Yeah, so there's a bit of, it's hilarious to, it was like he said, I'm not with her. We didn't actually go out. He met her for a day.
I know, I felt sorry for Laura though. I think her sort of little ding 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 went off in her head where she was like, X alert.
Yeah.
Like,
a new girl's entering the villa.
Yeah,
it's Britney.
Now that would be great telly. If ITV could
great.
secure Britney for the last week of Love Island, that would make fantastic telly. Also, in terms of the pairs, Megan really goes hard in on Wes in this lie detector, where she asks him some really, really in-depth, questions you'd be expecting months and months into a relationship. Like, is Megan wife material? And what will your parents think of Megan?
I thought the interesting one was, will you be embarrassed to take Meghan home to your parents? Because that cuts quite deep, but also we've sort of heard from people outside the villa how shy she is, and you sort of see that a bit, but then clearly she's quite insecure about some aspects of their relationship. But also, you know, that's such a difficult question. Like, she's not going to get an answer, she might not get an answer she likes. I don't think that he necessarily is embarrassed by her, but do you know what I mean? Like, he might be like, ooh, what are they going to think? Which might... There's a sort of grey area between the two, right?
Yeah, and I think Meghan, she's really self-deprecating and really aware, actually, of how she's perhaps perceived. Because I think, again, in tonight's episode, you see her in the beach hut saying something like, you know, would your parents want you to bring home like a sensible Sally, or someone like me who does this for a living, you know? And I kind of think Meghan's been a bit underestimated as, you know, being a bit of a stereotype in some ways and all this kind of stuff. And I think, as you say, I think there's really actually a lot to her. But I hope, you know, we've seen some of it, but maybe once they're out of the villa, we could see that side to her a bit more, because she's actually really funny, and I've really warmed to her.
They bring the best out of each other, those two, I think.
They do indeed. Who else have we got to talk about? Oh dear, I mean... Josh as well.
Josh and Kaz.
And Kaz. We saw this in the preview last night where she was sort of looking a bit tense, as was he, strapped up to the lie detector. And one of the answers he gives, it turns out he's lying as well. Don't know what it is that they're being asked.
He's quite smooth. Like he's the sort of person you could worry about on the outside, I think.
Yeah. A
little bit. I mean, you never know. It's hard to say what people are like in real life based on how you see them on this show. But there was the whole Georgia thing. And obviously that kind of worked out for the best. But there's that thing about the way you get them is the way you lose them or something, right?
Yeah, that's a well-known phrase.
Yeah. So you think there'd be a little grain of doubt in there somewhere? I don't know.
I think the way that all of the Love Islanders have got together, though, they should probably be worried for most of them. I mean,
it's not traditional. How did you meet? You know, on an app, in a bar, on ITV2.
Yeah, it's the modern way.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the biggest shocks in tonight's episode, though, is all of the fallout that's going to happen for Jack and Dani, because obviously from day one they have been the strongest couple, they are the favourites to win, but even they have a wobble with this lie detector. And some of the questions again that Dani asks are quite probing again, but also could throw up a lot of problems. Now, we don't 100% know what Jack answers, but it does seem like he does slip up at some point. But some of them include, do you feel like you settled too quickly with Dani? Are you in love with Dani? Could you be tempted by other girls outside of the villa? And the killer one for me is, did you know who her dad was before you got into the villa?
And wasn't one of them, did you couple up with her because her dad's Dani Dyer?
It could well be, yes.
I might have misread that.
Maybe. Did you couple up with Dani because you knew who her dad was? Yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah.
So that is a real... If he fails that one, surely that's the kicker.
It's really interesting, though, that it's a real insight into their kind of neuroses, right? Because these are the things she's worried about. And we've sort of seen she's worried about being cheated on, because that's happened a lot. And she's really concerned about the connection to her dad. But her questions are so, like... It comes at him from all different angles. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's lots of different bits of things she's worried about. And I mean, it's tricky because if he obviously knew who her dad was, in that he knew who Dani Dyer was. So
and
the phrasing on
that's
a bit awkward. He had that poster, yeah.
As his ex Ellie revealed when she came into the villa.
Totally.
And if you Google the poster, I mean, again, 80% of it is Dani Dyer. Like, you can't escape the fact that he's on the poster. But, you know, did he actually know that Dani was Dani's daughter, or did he?
We've had some extreme debate about this in the office.
Extreme, expletive-filled.
Yeah, basically, because I feel like there's an argument that he might have known who she was because of Survival of the Fittest and things like that, and her being on Good Morning Britain, and you know, he might have gone on with the game plan. I feel like maybe it's possible he went in with a kind of, oh, she might be nice, but like everyone who comes in after day one does. Pretty much. But I feel like it's unlikely he watched Survival of the Fittest, because I don't think...
See, I think it's likely he watched Survival of the Fittest, because it was billed as the winter Love Island. He was obviously probably thinking about applying.
I can't imagine a guy like him watching that. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's very stereotypical.
Maybe.
Very stereotypical. You've got to broaden your mind.
I do.
Broaden your TV viewing habits. Not that I'll be probably watching Survival of the Fittest when it comes back. But anyway, if it comes back.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room?
We can talk about the elephant in the room, which is probably what we're just about to talk about. Is the lie detector itself.
Not real.
Not real.
I mean, so there's a couple of layers to this, because obviously lie detectors aren't admissible in court. there's a lot of debate over how accurate they are at all. I mean, obviously, if lie detectors just worked, we would use them for everything. I think they say that they're quite good at detecting liars, but they're also very good at detecting non-liars as liars. So if you're lying, you'll probably get caught out. But if you're not lying, there's a 50-50 chance, because it measures your nervousness and your excitement and things like that. So if you're already a bit worried, it can give off a false positive. So there's that aspect. And then there's the specific Love Island aspect.
Which, I was going to say, you've got a polygraph expert here. I was like very impressed.
I did a bit of reading.
I did a bit of
reading. Yeah, because it was when they all take it as fact, it bothers me. I'm like, surely, Alex, you did science at university as a doctor. You must know that this is wrong.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it is hotly contested as to how accurate it is, but we had Katie McDermott, who was a contestant on Series 2 of Love Island. She sent a tweet, I think it was last year, where she just said, basically, she insinuated that the producers made up who they wanted to fail and who they wanted to pass. Obviously quite a, big claim to make, and whether that's true or not, we're not sure, but obviously ITV did say to us, again, this was last year, but they said that it was 100% genuine, the test. But as we've heard, it doesn't stand up in court.
Yeah.
The science is a little bit flaky. And also the fact that it causes such fallout for the Islanders and potential breakups. And it caused so much drama last year with Liv and Chris, and it was just a complete nightmare. So you think, is it a bit cruel? Is it fair to put them through this when actually there's probably not that much science or fact behind it?
And it didn't stop them with the Casa and More video of Jack. Do you know what I mean? That was not a very accurate representation of facts either.
No.
It's fake news.
Yeah, it is. But that's the thing. They never want to let that get in the way of a good story. And
totally.
The problem is it makes great telly.
It is
makes
good.
Such
It's good TV.
TV.
And that's the point. If this isn't like, a real psychological experiment, is it? It's a TV show. And it's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to put them through the ringer. And that's what this does really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, honestly, this evening's episode is going to be really, really one to watch. One thing we have to talk about, though, as well, which has sort of mentally scarred me in terms of the preview that I had through today with some pictures, is Alex stripping off again. Now, this is the second time that Alex has decided he's a stripper as well as a doctor and a part-time firefighter. Because him and Alexandra, we did get a bit of this last night, they are going to be together in the Hideaway. Very exciting. But instead of making it quite a classy affair, doing a bit more of his schmouldering, which I'm also not a fan of, he decides to don a purple bow tie and waistcoat, and it's the least sexiest thing I think I've ever seen, and it only evoked for me thoughts of a monkey toy thing with clashing cymbals. It's really not sexy. I don't know what he's thinking. What is he thinking?
I don't know where he got it from. I mean, did he just have that in his luggage? Like,
I'd
just
love
in
if he
case.
packed it, yeah.
Yeah, week 6, yeah. Or week 7, or whatever it is. Yeah, it's an odd one. I mean, he's clearly been like, this has worked for me, doing the weird, wacky stuff. She's like that. She liked me being the fireman. She liked the role play. Next level. Trouble is now he doesn't have Jack and Dani giving him advice on how to do it.
He's on his own in there.
He's on his own. He's like, I can do this. They came out with it. I'm smart. I'm a doctor. And he went for, the monkey symbol move. We've all tried it. It's a risky one. 1 in 3
Limited
success rate.
Yeah. I love the idea that he said to the producers, right, I want you to get me a waistcoat, bow tie here.
And one of them's like, are you sure? And they're like, no, let him get it. Let him get it.
Sure, yeah, it's sexy. It's so sexy, Alex. Do it.
Another great idea from Dr. Love.
But what happens again, though? They have this sort of really nice evening in the Hideaway. Both him and Alex seem to be getting on really well. And then the next morning is when the lie detector happens, and we see Alexandra in tears in the beach hut, and she says something along the lines of, I think you just always want the person you like to like you back in the same way. I just know that I really like Alex, which makes me wonder, has he failed one of those questions about, do you really love Alexandra, or do you want to, can you see it working outside the villa? And that would be such a shame if, again, only a few days after they got back together and everything was looking really good, they fall apart again.
I reckon it might be, based on the preview clip, it might be, they ask, because he says like, well, I wouldn't. So I thought maybe it was a cheating question, or maybe it's like, would you, if someone else came in the villa, would you, which would be like a specific thing she might ask, right? Because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, I don't feel like Alex really likes her that much. I think he thinks she's fine. I think he obviously much preferred new Laura when she came in.
Yeah, I do as well,
Yeah.
which is really sad.
Yeah, and then he was just like, oh, well, clearly I can have it. Clearly we've got this connection because we had one conversation. And then he just sort of binned Alexander off and then was like, oh,
what have I done?
oops,
what have I done?
better get back.
I know, as soon as he found out that new Laura had been snogging new Jack.
He was like backpedaling on his monkey unicycle.
Well, with that mental image, we'll leave you for today. But thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget to check out all the latest Love Island news on radiotimes.com. We'll see you tomorrow.